Hello and welcome to our new classroom program. We have titled it The Hindu Made Easy for You. For the students appearing for the CLAT examination, any law entrance examinations, we know the importance of English language. And to get felicity with the words and the understanding of the passage, narrative history and types, tones. To understand these things, we need to be a regular reader. Better we say a rapid reader. And let's start with, the best way to start with the regular habitual reading of the Hindu newspaper. It's one of the most, you could say, reliable, respected newspaper, irrespective of language in global terms. And so, what we'll do in case of this Hindu Made Easy for You section is that we will summarize the whole content for you, what's important for you, and what you must not miss while reading the articles. Okay, so two important aspects are there. One, language ability. It enhances our language ability. It makes us more and more sort of rapid reader, you could say, that easily you could become if you are in the habit of reading the Hindu regularly. Often if you find that you are not getting the full concept or crux of the matter in case of editorial or some feature articles, it is not an issue. Let us continue with it and you will understand. So I will be helpful in the sense that if you have already read the newspaper, it's okay. Even if you have not read the newspaper till now, no problem. We make you a summarized version of the Hindu edition of today. Okay, so that's a July 11th, it's a Tuesday, and today's headlines are there. Basically, we should know that what is the most essential part of reading the Hindu newspaper. So, of course, as we say in the classroom also, here in this online platform also, I am saying again, it's repeating the things that reading the headlines irrespective of the content or nature of the news is immaterial. If they have printed it, please do read it, giving the extra attention required in the case of the front page, of course, because you need to be getting the, if you read a regular newspaper, you realize that an event that has occurred, what was the developing story on that, what happened afterwards, or so this front page is important. Then we go for the, as I already said, that we will read the headlines first, all the headlines including the editorial pages, your sports section, banking. We have, the Hindu has introduced a new feature called text and context. Okay, that's also very beautiful feature. It's basically an explainer that gives a detailed analysis of an event that you are not getting full picture of. So it provides a 360-degree understanding of a term, a situation, geopolitical entity or something like that. So like in today's issue, we have this text and context issue dealing with the global south, origins and significance. Two important articles are there. First one, that's the global south. The term global south, we know that how India used to be called among the countries who were earlier developing stages or underdeveloped stages, and who were the countries in mostly in the global south. Mostly it's African, Latin American and Asian countries. You know it very well that India and China, two dominant countries coming under the global south, are totally in the northern hemisphere, but still be called global south because of the imperative meaning attached with it in contextual sense. So when we will discuss the article, we will go in detail for that. So what I was saying, that this sort of feature is very popular feature, and that feature they have introduced is the second page article. You will find that a spotlight section. Often you will find on a domestic issue they deal with this spotlight section. It's basically a feature article. Means it's a full page article. Earlier they used to have on weekends, that is on Saturday, on op-ed pages they used to have a full page article based on a single story, on investigating stories or something, an event or something has happened earlier and they are in explainer nature of, so it's a ground report or something like that. Now often they give virtually of daily basis, they are now giving spotlights dealing with the even local issues in a full page. Like today's spotlights, it's about the Amrit Bharat station scheme that government of India in the last budget had introduced, that modernization of our railway stations, especially those in suburban areas and smaller locations. So what they have done is that in every division they have called for the 15 stations and recommend. So it's a Tamil Nadu case. Especially those who have visited Chennai, they know it very well. That is a suburban railway system, how well it works. So the money is there. Will 60 stations have been identified in Tamil Nadu under the Amrit Bharat station scheme, that sort of thing. You could say that okay, it's a local issue. No, it's not a local issue, and you don't have to bother that much. You cannot weigh in every feature article saying that so okay fine, it deals with this domestic issue or that domestic issue. Why should be concerned of that? No. First thing that we are reading the Hindu for our understanding of the language, and the second is our understanding of the international affairs, current events, national affairs, climate issues, pandemics, or something like that. So the first instance is that we shall be able to communicate whatever we see the situations like that. So in that case, and I always insist that please do read the long feature, never avoid reading, never skip the long feature articles thinking that it's a long form article. No, writing and reading. Writing is difficult, of course, for a long form article because people shy away from writing few paragraphs. So just writing say 500 words or 1000 word articles takes time, of course. But if you are a regular reader and you have the familiarity with the words and things like that, it's not that much difficult also. It's a matter of practice and consistent reading habits, apart from the newspapers, other things like regular news magazines and also like Outlook, Frontline, Carva magazines, okay, Open magazines are there. So these are weekly or fortnightly. These are helping, supplementary nature. Once in a moon you can buy a novel also by renowned, like recently Amitabh Ghosh has come out with his one work. We'll discuss that in later age when it comes to that. So what I said that we will summarize today's first and then go for the editorial page. Then we'll take on the important articles on op-ed, that is opposite editorial page. Then we will go for the individual features like a spotlight, text and context, and then we'll go for the world events, the major world events that has been covered in today's newspapers. Two major world events have been covered in today's major. That's one is Joe Biden was in London for a stay over because he was visiting his NATO summit that is being held in Lithuania in Europe, Eastern Europe country where NATO summit is being held, and in order to participate there, overnight stay was in London, and he met Prime Minister of England, Rishi Sunak, as well as King Charles III also. And a 10 Downing Street photo of his having tea with Rishi Sunak was on the display, all places in the pictures, all the over places. So one important event is that how Ukraine is unfolding. The story of Ukraine invasion by Russia is unfolding in what NATO is trying, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And again, the Biden and Sunak has emphasized that their friendship, their comradeship is brotherhood, is the perennial in nature, and it will remain so, and they will never shy away from helping the countries in European regions or Indo-Pacific regions who specify for that. And another one is, as you might have aware of, that in Russia, Wagner Group chief Prigozhin has rebelled against the central offices, and how this whole thing has happened. Today's news is that Wagner met Vladimir Putin in Kremlin along with his commanders. And what it has, because it was some sort of a shaking in people in Western world even gossiped, they rumored that Putin was no more. He's gone now. It's nothing like that. And within 24 hours, Wagner chief Prigozhin had to take back his revolt against the Russian military. So that one feature in world section. Another one feature in business section, one good article is there, never avoid business section, paper, economic business pages, because see, it's difficult to understand because they are very terminology, economics terminology is applied economics, macroeconomics, other terms are being used in the article. So you need to be little bit financial newspapers, what we say literacy of economic terms and all, but still it will develop if you just read it. Today's article in the financial section is regarding, as you know very well, phenomena of Hindenburg and Adani saga. That Gautam Adani is on Gautam Adani, Hindenburg came out an article that it's the biggest corporate con, and share prices of Adani Enterprises came down heavily and lots of losses and all. Then Supreme Court monitored committee judge was looking into the affairs, and SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, also was tasked to find out that what it was. But as you read the article, you will realize that SEBI has shown unability. According to the Supreme Court panel, they say that SEBI has touched the wall. SEBI has touched the wall in the sense that they don't know who is the ultimate beneficiary of the portfolio investor's name. Actually, the amendment that was done in 2018 has made it virtually impossible to know who is the ultimate owner of the equity firms and things like that that are registered in tax havens and other countries. That's origin is very much. So you will understand, at least we don't have to go in minor detail, but overall outlook should be clear to you. That is the main point of that one. So let us start with the front pages. As we know that in the north Himalayan states, Himachal Pradesh, and especially the rivers Byas, Ravi, Chenab, these rivers have created flood-like situation, flash flood and other landslips have happened in even tourist spots in Himachal Pradesh. There is a heavy downpour in NCR capital region and things like that. That has been rain continues to pound north India. Okay, so this is the first basically, and we have Bengal violence that was written. We had already we were knowing it very well that Panchayati Raj elections in West Bengal will have its share of violence. That's there. And then, as I discussed in a spotlight section, that suburban stations makeover, right on track. That is the Amrit Bharat station scheme that we have discussed, that you will read this article. It has been selected, 60 stations have been selected and they will be modernized. That is the basically. Then we have one important news coming in the state section, that is the Madras High Court to quash criminal cases against minor boys for consensual relationship with minor girls. There have been cases where they have eloped in full consensus and all, and even families had not filed the cases, but still police had filed the charge sheet and cases and convicted them. Some cases they sent the juvenile homes and things like. So Madras High Court has taken cognizance of this thing, and they said that DG should look into it. So for legal point of view, you will see that how POCSO, that's the Prevention of Sexual Offences Against the Children, this POCSO acts were being how it's misused by the police stations and how it has to be handled. You might be knowing that POCSO, that is prevention of what we call that's protection of children from sexual offences. Protection of children from sexual offences, that is POCSO. Cases had it's recently a movie came, सिर्फ एक बंदा काफ़ी है, by Manoj Bajpayee it has been, and he's shown that how a powerful God man had molested a young teenager girl and how she fought back, and finally he was convicted for that. So it was the beauty, or you could say legislation of this Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, POCSO, that it was possible that such a person was being affected. So important article for you. Another one in this page is that how urban India is reclaiming spaces for communities. Now people are in urban areas more health conscious and all. They are utilizing the parks and streetways and things like that, in doing yoga classes and all. Health conscious things are happening. Then we have in the among the states news itself, one important news that you have to think about the informed civil code matters. Okay, so now who is against, who is pro, and also BRS has opposed UCC. Then let us come to the now focus on our editorial section. So editorial section consists of two articles, two editorial. First one is the second moonshot, the Hindu editorial. Let's say generally you will find that these two editorials are the real editorials, like the second moonshot and alarm bells, because you will not find the byline for these editorials, because it's a team of editors or experts do it. It's anonymous. Always you will find this anonymous. Other all articles are having the bylines, means who has written this one. This you will not know. It is considered a Hindu as a newspaper, as an institution's its voice. Okay, so second moonshot is about the ISRO, that Indian Space Research Organization's Chandrayaan Project 3, that is on 14th of July is going to be launched and world will witness. And you know that it has discussed the topic of Artemis mission that has been India signed with recent visit of Narendra Modi in Washington had led to the signing of a treaty, that Artemis, where India will be collaborating with US and select group of countries on the moon missions. So lander and rover will reach there, and whole thing is very much, it shows the capability of Indian Space Research Organization and its reach, that it possible. And then one is alarm bells, that is as we in the classroom also we had discussed a beautiful passage regarding the root cause of political violence in West Bengal. Political violence during the election time is not a new phenomenon, or not a subject to particular region or something like that. But what we find that in West Bengal is too much. And as we read in the passage in the classroom, that it has historical roots for it, that who gets the lifts on the ground, who is rooted in the violence and fight. So likewise, so it says that grassroots politics is now a high stakes game of violence. Hindu has headlined it that grassroots politics. Why? Because it was the election of Panchayati Raj elections, and you know that Calcutta High Court had ordered for the deployment of paramilitary forces, and state government had gone to the Supreme Court against it, but Supreme Court had stayed the Calcutta High Court's order of deployment of paramilitary forces. But in spite of its haphazard deployment in the areas, violence has occurred in a very large, that is an alarming situation. That's why its title is Alarm Bells. Then the major editorial, top editorial, is the AI, that is artificial intelligence, disruptive economic impact and India check. Okay, we will discuss this one. It's a beautiful article written by, we have done the passage on artificial intelligence. We know it very well. What is large language models, what is chat GPT, these things we have discussed already in the classroom. And it's a, as I said, that it's a developing story, it's a fast developing story. So we need to focus more, and whenever we find the articles related to that, we will read it. So this is an Indian perspective, that what India should, what stakes are for India in case of AI, that's artificial intelligence, and how it's creating disruptive economic impact, and India checks. So India being a populous country, you know it very well, it's very much fearful of people losing their jobs. But those who are in developed countries, Western countries, where the manpower is scarce, where they borrow from other countries and all, for them it's a boon, because lots of services can be done by the AI. Now ChatGPT writes poetry, now ChatGPT writes Shakespearean sonnets. You can try it, give the prompts, and it will come out with the Shakespearean sonnet on the particular theme and all things. That is beautiful about that. So people are scared of. Now one thing is clear, that this debate about whether we should stop AI, no, it's not possible. And they said, no, we cannot stop it, we shall not stop it, but we shall of course give a direction to it. And you know it very much, artificial general intelligence, AGI, and the another one was we know that stochastic parrots, examples of stochastic. So basically, it's a stochastic parrots. That means they can speak Alexa, do this, Alexa, do that, and they will do it without understanding the real meaning of the word. So it's not, this article discusses about the positive effects of AI, artificial intelligence adoption, how it can modernize health services and economic well-being of the people and things like that, and lots of chaos and mismanagement can be we can get rid of by employing the AI tools. And only thing is that the now youth has to worker also have to upgrade themselves. If they upgrade, if they equip with AI tools, then they are not vulnerable. Only if they become obsolete and all, and then that becomes the dangerous for that one. So India's case, keeping the what we say manpower intensive industries, not capital intensive industries. We have like people who are working in call centers and other things, they are vulnerable to this development because lots of jobs are being done. Next article in the editorial section is on the today is the World's Population Day, and on that it has been beautiful article written by Andrea M. Wozner, she is representative of UN representative on population and all. So she had written about a particular article on women's reproductive autonomy as the new catchword. She has emphasized that India has taken a lot of development in family planning section, mortality rates, morbidity, child mortality rates. These things India has achieved a lot, but still what we find that women's reproductive autonomy is very much in debate. They don't have control, and that is the thing we should give more emphasis by taking measures. Like government has taken lots of family planning measures and things like that, but still we need to have empowerment of women so that they can take their own decisions, reproductive decisions, autonomy decisions, they can take it. So it's a so article concludes with saying that okay, much progress have been made in this segment on the because we know that age expectancy has also, life expectancy has increased, child mortality rate had decreased, population has more or less stabilized, more areas we have zero population or negative population growth. So these things are good, but still when we go for the women's autonomy, especially regarding their reproductive rights, it is still a big thing to ask for, and government should make investment in this sector and come out with the measures for that one. Okay, then we have one important article in opinion section, that is op-ed article, that is don't waste the wastewater. Okay, it's basically don't waste the wastewater means it's a simply wastewater surveillance, that how we tackle diseases, especially epidemics and any other that sort of diseases, how could we control by not going to individual samples, but by treating, but by handling the wastewaters of the region and area. Then India has done a lot of things like that in genome sequencing, DNA and other things has also helped. India's Ayushman Bharat digital program has a big initiative and they are taking into measure. So it's a new thing, and we know that you should be reading. Although science and technology articles are tough to understand sometimes for students of humanities, but read it as it just as an information source of, because we do get passages on these themes. So do read this one. And then we have come to the most useful feature, that is text and context. Here we find the two articles that with the Global South, origin and significance. What is the Global South? The term Global South means what? Earlier it was the underdeveloped countries, developing countries, they were known as the Global South, means backward, economically backward countries they were. But now it's a shifting, 21st century is power and center is shifting to Asia Pacific. Now no more Western powers are economically that powerful. India, China, Brazil and all are going on the scale. India is, and you know that it's a larger economy than UK. Britain, it's once colonizer state. So this Global South, origin and significance, important article, you must read, make a note out of it, or you at least get the terms on that one. Then we have one article in this section is what were the events which led to the riots in France. You might have watched news all over CNN, BBC World, Al Jazeera, they were full of, even Indian news channels had covered the riots in Paris and other suburban areas of France. And why it happened? It happened due to the death of a teenager. Police shot on point blank range a teenager who was driving, and he was asked to stop. He did not stop, and police shot him dead. And that led to the protest. And who were protesters? Mostly Arab, black, those earlier African countries where France has imperial rule, had earlier colonized. Their people are in Paris suburbs. They have, if you have watched Netflix, you will see Athena, a movie, Athena. Athena is a movie on Netflix that shows this. You could say that seeing that movie, you could realize the ferocity, hatred, and racial practices in the day-to-day life. They preach India that we are having the minority issues and all, but how they handle their own minorities and how this thing is totally racial, and why this much of outburst of anger by people, and for many days it happened. So it has a background, colonial background of France, and present day situation in France to unable to take mainstream them. They are not able to mainstream, they are ghettoized. Means they are having their own areas, suburbs, where all sort of unemployment, drugs issues are there. So it's a big law and order situation, and that one that you will get one. Then we have another article on text and context is that the need for strengthening palliative care in the face of non-communicable diseases. What is called non-communicable diseases are classified into communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases are called those who are developed by the lifestyle diseases, or like say cancer, diabetes, hypertension. These things are known as non-communicable diseases. And it says that the major term that is in palliative care. What is palliative care? Okay, it's a palliative care is a tertiary stage care of the patient. In the case of life-limiting nature of the disease, it is known as that his life has limited availability on earth. So what to do? How to mitigate his pain? By not overdosing the medication and other things, and who will care for that one? So whole scenario is palliative care. And we know that in urban areas, in high-end hospitals, palliative care facilities are there, but in rural areas, in small district towns, these facilities are not there, and government should come out with the measures to provide the palliative cares and come, because families who get these sort of diseases are virtually become overnight broke, and they come into the poverty net. They become BPL family once such a sort of disease, because medication is so costly that it happens that make them poor. So if government provides them some sort of measures to take care of those people who have undergone. And one more thing, it has discovered that in case of pediatric children, palliative care means those children having the neuro disorders and other autism and things like that, they are not given. There it is individual parents' responsibility to take care of those sort of children. So that is one topic, and you will understand what is palliative care and why it's called tertiary stage of treatment. Okay, tertiary, you understand, that's the final stage. Then we have in the news sections, we have SC asked Manipur about status of stolen police weapons. What happened in Manipur is that during the initial days of riots, terrorists had stolen police stations because police fled from the scene, and they had stolen the police rifles and ammunition from the police station all over. So more than 4,000 rifles were stolen and things like that. Now Supreme Court, during a petition filed by the Manipur, where Tushar Mehta represented Manipur, our Solicitor General who represented Manipur, and then CJI Chandrachud is handling the issue, and he said that we are not coming into the issue of maintaining the law and order. It's a state subject. A state government is there to do it. We are here to ask for the measures that have been taken for that one. And then our Solicitor General said that condition has been improved, and it will take some measures, while those who had petitioned the court, they said that no, government is not coming out with the fresh data and things are not that normal as it appears. Then another important for law students, CLAT students, is that you know that it's a bill regarding the New Delhi Okay, what is the bill's name? It's a ordinance, basically what the National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Ordinance. The National Capital Territory of Delhi Ordinance Amendment. You know it very well that AAP government had filed a case in Supreme Court, and Supreme Court had given order to the central government to give all civil powers to the elected governments, and only certain powers should be with the central government. Civil services should be with the elected government. Now what happened, within few days of giving this order, the central government came out with an ordinance whereby it brought on the civil services within the purview of Lieutenant Governor. Now this elected government, as you know, that Delhi is not full state. Okay, it's a law and order is not in the elected government's power. It's a central government that controls the law and order of the Delhi. Okay, so it's not full autonomy state like Punjab or Bihar or something like that. So again they have filed this case, NSC, and now what happened, latest development is that there are certain people who have been by LG has removed them from their investment, their posts are known as something independent consultants. Okay, 437 independent consultants were fired by Lieutenant General, saying that their appointment is not proper, legal and all. Now the AAP government has gone in the Supreme Court bench for an interim relief, saying that this ordinance is there, and within the according to the ordinance this decision has been given, so please give us a stay on this particular interim order that was given, because we are challenging the ordinance itself. And AAP has, as you know, that they have asked for help of other political parties also in what we say, in protesting against becoming this ordinance into act. Now come to another news, important news. China protests Dalai Lama meeting US officials in Delhi, calls it interference. As you know it very well, the holy Dalai Lama's birthday was few days back, and an American official had participated it in US, and she came India and she met with Dalai Lama, and China as usual has protested against Dalai Lama's meeting with the US state officials. You know it's a routine affair, whereas Dalai Lama has the holy Dalai Lama has affirmed again that Tibet is part of China, and China has used its direct and indirect means to approach us. They wish to talk to us, and we don't want an independent country, we want autonomy for Tibet. That is the official policy we follow. So this is some important news. Then we have news like in local news we have some unprecedented situation. Then we have international news, world news, that we said that two issues that we discussed earlier briefly, that Biden met Sunak, King in England before NATO summit. That was Joe Biden has night stopover in London, and when he met Prime Minister Sunak and all, and we said that how they showed their comradeship, brotherhood, and proclaimed their friendship, eternal friendship, and how they will handle Russia in Ukraine and what to help and all. Next one was the Russian president met Wagner chief Prigozhin days after mutiny. So it said that 24th mutiny was there, and 29th he met with his commanders, and you know that Prigozhin is where he is, nobody knows it now, right now, and it has very much created a big problem for Vladimir Putin's power, his absolute command over the situation. Then we have, as we discussed in the business section, it is that foreign portfolio investors, how it is a law that has been made in India itself, and how it becomes difficult for even Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, to find out who is the ultimate owner of a firm or investor in an Indian company. Then we have, that's all for today. Hope you will enjoy reading after this. Thank you very much for giving your beautiful time.